Yo, what is up? I am Richie Kim and welcome back to Richie Revs. I have another video for you all today, and it's finally going to be some content on my girlfriend's Elantra N. You know, I've been wanting to make some kind of video on this car for a while now, and I finally decided what type of video I wanted to make. So today we are going to be talking about 5 things that I love about the Elantra N, and this goes for the 2022 and up, or the new one that's coming out this year. Pretty much everything is the same except for the outside of the car. But yeah, so first of all, the first thing that I really love about the Elantra N is the performance of this car. And by performance of this car, I mean, obviously, there's I guess like higher performance cars out there, but performance for the price is pretty unbeatable in my opinion. Like, I don't know what type of car you're gonna be able to get between like what, $33,000 and $35,000 for a new car. Let me preface this by saying a new car in that price point that gives you the amount of performance that you get in the Elantra N. I just don't think it's beatable. As far as driving dynamics goes, this car is extremely fun. It handles very, very well. So before I even got my M3, I owned a G70, and I actually preferred this car up in the canyons compared to the G70. This thing was just very, very fun. It rips through the corners, especially on the canyon roads that have like tighter turns. This thing handled that very, very well. Obviously, in the canyons like Azusa, where there's, I guess, like more straights, you're not going to be going as fast because you're going to be lacking, the power compared to like something in my M3. But overall, the performance for this price is really, really unbeatable. I mean, you get what, 286 horsepower, I think. And that is when you toggle this NGS mode. This is a DCT, which is great, by the way. The DCT is very, very quick in this car, as it should be. Performance, you're getting what, 286 horsepower, turbo. It's a 4-cylinder, but this thing gets going pretty quick. The 0 to 60 is like 4.9 seconds, I think, maybe 5, somewhere around there. So yeah, I mean, this thing is no slouch, and for that mid $30,000 price point for a new car, I really think the performance for this vehicle is unmatched. So the second thing I really love about this car is the exhaust. The exhaust on this car, stock, sounds amazing. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in N mode right now. We're gonna do a couple downshifts. Like, you all can hear the burbles, maybe. I'm not sure if you can hear it with the windows down. I'm sure you can hear it a little bit, but this thing actually gets pretty damn loud. So yeah, I mean, the exhaust is great. I'm gonna have another clip of the exhaust from outside of the car. So this is what the exhaust sounds like on a cold start, kind of. I accidentally already started it, but I'm gonna restart it right again. But I'm gonna restart it right now. Pretty loud. And then this is what it sounds like in its N mode. Let's go back out there. So the cold start already stopped, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty loud, and this is stock too. I'm also gonna roll down the windows right now so you all can hear the exhaust a little bit more. So I think the tone of the exhaust is great. It sounds like, the backfires and the burbles on this car are insane. Like, and the fact that this comes stock is awesome. Like, you really don't have to do anything for the exhaust. If you want to make it louder, obviously you can. Because I mean, I haven't personally looked at like what can be done, but obviously I'm sure you could do like a resonator delete, muffler delete, whatever you want, and really just make this thing way louder. But yeah, I mean, as it stands, like I think this already sounds really good. The fact that if you wanted to get God damn, this thing is loud. But yeah, if you wanted to get a car that already sounds good from the factory, the Elantra N I think is pretty unbeatable too. Even if you compare it to, I guess, like its direct competitors, which would be like the Civic Type R and the GR Corolla. In terms of the exhaust note, I think the Elantra N sounds way better stock than any of those cars stock. Obviously, if you get into modifications, it's going to sound a little bit different, but stock for stock, I think this sounds by far the best. And I think Hyundai did an amazing job with the exhaust note from the factory. Like, this thing is pretty crazy. Yeah, the burbles on this thing, the backfires, it sounds really good. Okay, so another thing I absolutely love about this car is the tech inside of this car. So as far as like overall technology, I think that the Elantra N completely outshines any of the competition. I mean, you have this full digital cluster. It looks very nice. It's very responsive. The dash changes when you change your modes, your driving modes. So that's really cool. Also, I mean, the fact that you have CarPlay, it is hardwired CarPlay though, but it is very responsive. So you also have your Android Auto. And also, if you have an Android phone, I believe you can use your phone as a key, which is, something else that I don't think any of the competitors can do. Besides that, you do have like your Bose sound system, which sounds pretty good. Obviously, it's nothing compared to, I guess, like luxury vehicles. But yeah, I mean, the Bose sound system is great. You also have like your lane keep assist in here. And I believe in the new Elantra N, the 2024 and up, will have actual like smart cruise control. I might be wrong about that, but that's also something very nice to have. The technology in this car is very good. Like, the screen feels very snappy. Like, you can go in, you can change whatever you want, your active sound design, which is like the, I guess, like the exhaust noise that comes in through the speakers. You can turn that off. There's a bunch of things you can modify in this car or change in this car. You can set custom presets. I mean, yeah, overall, just the technology in here is very nice. And yeah, I don't think any of the direct competitors have a better like infotainment / technology system than the Elantra N. So something else I forgot to mention about the infotainment and just like the overall like control system in here is the fact that, modern day cars, most new cars that are coming out right now, they are building everything into this touchscreen, which kind of sucks. But with the Elantra N, we actually have these physical buttons, and that's really great because, obviously, if you want to change something, especially with your HVAC, it's right here. You can just touch the physical buttons without having to dig through the touch screen in the car to, just increase the temperature or decrease the temperature, increase fan speed, so on and so forth. So also, compared to my M3, pretty much everything is built into the screen. And it really is just nice to be able to, you know, kind of just be able to have the physical buttons so you can change things, you know, at a glance rather than having to go through 2 or 3 screens just to turn on like your AC. So that's another plus about this like infotainment slash like control system in the Elantra N. All right, so the fourth thing that I absolutely love about this car are these seats. So the Elantra N actually comes with real bucket seats, and these seats, not only are they very comfortable, although it does get a little bit uncomfortable on super long drives just because, you know, there isn't like too much lumbar support here, but these things really have like tight bolsters. And when I take this up into the canyons, I don't feel myself sliding around in my seat at all. So just for comparison, in my M3, you know, I do have the comfort seats. I didn't get the carbon buckets. And these N bucket seats do an amazing job. Like, they make sure I'm contained around those corners way better than my comfort seats in the M3. Like, these things are super bolstered. The quality is nice. Like, this is leather, feels great. And this N actually lights up. You can't really see it right now, but if it were nighttime, you could actually see it light up. It looks really cool. It looks very premium too. And then also, you know, you have this Alcantara, and it's very nice. You do have like this like 3 stripe with the Elantra N blue, or performance blue. So yeah, I mean, these bucket seats are amazing. Very, very comfortable, and they do a great job of making sure you aren't sliding around in your seat when you're going around those corners real quick. All right, and the last thing about this car that I absolutely love is the aesthetics of the car. Like, you know, this is a thing where people will either really like it or they don't really like it. Personally, I haven't met anyone that's just like, it looks okay. It's either they really do like it or they just really hate it. But me personally, like, I think this looks like really, really good. And, you know, this might be even more controversial, but I think this model looks better than the new, like, refreshed version that's coming out like this year. I don't know, it just looks more aggressive, looks more unique, and I think the one that's coming out this year kind of looks more basic, you know. So yeah, I mean, I really, really like the way the Elantra N looks. I think it looks very aggressive, but it's also, you know, it is a 4-door sedan. It's very, very practical, and it looks great, and it has the performance. Like, I honestly don't know what more you could want out of a car, a performance car, you know, within this like mid $30,000 range. Like, this thing really just, it has it all. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, this is an amazing car. You know, Hyundai did an amazing job with it. I like, look at this. I love the aggressive lines. I love everything about this car, really. The color, you know, they do have like a few different colors. I think gray is one of the best ones, along with the actual Hyundai Performance Blue. But yeah, I mean, I think the Elantra N looks good. I really don't know of an angle of the car that doesn't look good, at least to me, right? But yeah, so me personally, I really like the way that this car looks. I know others might not have the same, you know, opinion, but yeah. To me, this thing just looks really, really mean, in a good way. So yeah, I mean, the appearance for me is top notch. So yeah, that is pretty much the 5 reasons I really love the Elantra N. Just to recap, right? Performance. The performance is great for the price. It's really unbeatable in the mid 30,000 range. It's just, you know, you get a lot of bang for your buck with this car. And a couple things I forgot to mention are this car is lowered from the factory, so it could be a little bit lower if you want to get like super like tight fitment, super flush. But yeah, you know, it is low enough, especially for, you know, me and my girlfriend. We do actually scrape on some, like, you know, I guess like entries or driveways or whatever you want to call it. So it is pretty low. You can lower it a little bit more if you'd like. And then another thing that's great is it comes stock with PS4Ss, which is amazing because PS4Ss are pretty much the best in terms of like an all-around street tire that can also, you know, rip the canyons and do pretty well on track. And, you know, it's just a very overall like good tire. So yeah, it comes stock with PS4Ss, which is great. And then, you know, like I was saying before, this thing goes. Like, yeah, obviously it is a 4-cylinder car, but, you know, for the money, I really have no complaints. This thing is plenty quick. The seats are great. The bolsters are really, really tight, and they hold you in on those, you know, nice track days or the canyon days. You're not going to be sliding around the car. Infotainment is also really good. Just the overall technology in this car is very good. There's a lot of built-in safety features. You have a lot of these monitors. You have like this N-track mode where you can actually set like custom stuff for your track days. And just like a bunch of things you can do in this infotainment system. And it's very snappy and responsive, which is awesome. And then, like I said, the exhaust sounds really good, especially for a stock car. You all have to remember, absolutely nothing was done to this car. This is completely stock, and it sounds really, really good. For a 4-cylinder car, this is probably, you know, as good as it's gonna sound from factory. But yeah, I mean, I really like what Hyundai did with this exhaust. Sounds really, really good. And then obviously the last thing is the aesthetics of this car. And the aesthetics of this car, sorry about that. And the aesthetics of this car is something that is up for debate. Some people like it, some people hate it. Some people like the refresh version, which is coming out this year, which I personally still think it looks good, but I feel like it loses its, you know, it's a little, it loses a little bit of uniqueness that the 2022 and 2023 versions of this Elantra N offer. But still, I do think it looks good. Both models look great, but I do prefer this, you know, earlier model, at least in terms of the aesthetics. And then I guess this is going to be kind of like a sixth thing, you know, about this car that I really love. And it's the fact that even though this is a like performance car or the performance version of the Elantra, it's still an Elantra, right? So it's very, very practical. You have a giant trunk. You have a giant trunk. You can fit 5 people very comfortably in this car. It is a very spacious car. So if you wanted something that's practical but also very fun to drive, you can take it in the canyons, you can take it on the track, you know, you could just take it on a drive, you know, it's got you covered. This is literally a do-it-all car. So yeah, those are my 5, technically 6 things I love about the Elantra N. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. Do you agree, do you disagree? I will be making a video about 5 things that I dislike or hate about the Elantra N, and then I'll be putting out like a review later too, because we have quite a bit of mileage on this car, 17,000 miles, and I'll let you all know my thoughts on, you know, my experience of this car as a daily driver in the canyons, you know, etc., etc. So stick around for those. But yeah, make sure you all leave a comment, like the video, subscribe if you haven't. I'll be putting out more content both on this car and on my M3, and maybe even Will's Shelby GT350R and Andy's brand new Golf R. So yeah, stick around. Let me know if you want to see content on other cars besides, you know, just the Elantra N and the M3, because I am definitely open to making videos about like all sorts of cars, because in general I appreciate all cars. So yeah, just, you know, let me know. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.